So today we're going to take this piece of paper right here and make it into a foldable for reflections. So I've gone ahead and cut apart this right here. I've cut that out, I've cut this out, I've cut this out. So there are 4 big pieces that I've cut out. So you're going to start with that. From there, I've traced this right here on the graph with red. This is our pre-image. And this pink one is our first image. It's our first copy. The blue one is an image of this red one. It's the second copy. And then the green one I have added to mine. And that's going to be the last image. So naming the points on that pre-image is going to be -2 and +3 for point P. For point Q, it's -2 and 1, and -3 and 1, and -3 and 5. And that is actually going to be the same for this one also, so I'm just going to go ahead and put those points, those coordinates for all of these. That's a 5. And I'm also going to glue this down. And again, if I'm going too fast, pause the video, replay it if you need to, as many times as you need to, until you get everything that you need. I'm also going to add another one of these since I added this image right here. So from P to Q to R to S. And if we reflect it to P triple prime, Q triple prime, R triple prime, and S triple prime. So point P begins at -2, 3. Point Q, again, I'm just copying this from these tables over here. -2, 1. R starts off at -3, 1. S begins at -3 and 5. Then we're going to reflect that. So for our first reflection, to reflect it here, the line of reflection is right here for this first one. Okay, so then the point P prime is 2, 3. Q prime is 2, 1. This one's 3, 1. And S prime is 3, 5. So there's my first reflection. Then the blue one is my second reflection, so that's going to go here in the double primes. So when I reflect it here, I'm actually reflecting it over, this is the x-axis. So point P reflected to P double prime is -2, -3. Q reflected to Q double prime is -2, -1. R reflected to R double prime is -3, -1. And then S reflected is -3, -5 in this situation. And then for the last one, So we're going from this pre-image to this image. If we reflect over the x-axis and then the y-axis, or either the y-axis and then the x-axis, either way we go, we're going to end up right here. So this one, once I do that, these points, this one is Q triple prime, R triple prime, this one's S triple prime, and then P triple prime is right there. So P triple prime is 2, -3. Q triple prime is 2, -1. R triple prime is 3, -1. Then S triple prime is 3, -5. Okay, so we've got those glued in, and then there's that. From there, we've got this piece to glue in. So I'm just going to run my glue stick over the back of it. Put it right there. So for that one, I want you to notice the things that happened when we reflect over the x-axis. And we talked about this in class on one of our lessons from illustrative math, how when we reflect over the x-axis, the x-coordinate remains the same. And then the y-coordinate changes to its opposite. And that should be in your notes somewhere already. To write that using an ordered pair, we would say if it starts off as this, the x-coordinate is still the same, but to change the y-coordinate to its opposite, we would have the opposite of whatever number we already had. Then to change over, to reflect over the x-axis, so if we reflect, to reflect over the y-axis, the y-coordinate stays the same. And then the x-coordinate changes to its opposite. So to write that using an ordered pair, the y stays the same. So if it starts off as whatever in the world it is, the y-coordinate will stay the same when we reflect over the y-axis. And the x changes to its opposite. So we'll write x and then the opposite of x. And then if you do both of them at the same time, both coordinates will be the opposite. So this will be the opposite of x, and this will be the opposite of y. And then on this piece right here, somehow the directions got cut off of these pictures. So on this first problem right here with triangle JKL, it wants you to reflect it over the x-axis. so that will reflect over. I'll trace it for you. The x-axis is this one. That one's the x-axis here. That's a sideways x. Sorry. On the second one, it wants you to reflect over the y-axis, which is this one. And that's a y-axis. And then on this one, it wants you to write the words and describe that reflection. And what I'm doing with this, you guys are going to do this on your own. And then I folded this one like that, just in between the first two. Then I folded in between the last two. So then I can stretch it back out. I'm going to turn it all the way over. Again, if you don't understand what it is that I'm doing, pause the video, rewind it, replay it as many times as you need to till you understand what I'm doing before you glue it down wrong. So get you enough glue on that little square right there. Stick it where you've got some space. So then, what I want you to do on this little spot right here is draw you another Venn diagram.